Good morning, children. Welcome to our class. Till now we have discussed about the different types of respirations. And now we are going to discuss about the evolution of the respiratory organs. Means from the unicellular organisms to multicellular organisms. How the organs are developed and how the process of respiration takes place from unicellular to multicellular organisms. Even though some multicellular organisms have many cells, but they also perform the respiration same as the unicellular organisms like amoeba. The unicellular organisms, the absorption of food, excretion of waste material and respiration, that is the inhalation and exhalation, both means the gases exchange takes place through the cell membrane itself, through the process of diffusion. So if you see from the single cell organisms like amoeba to multicellular organisms like planaria, hydra, they adapted the process of respiration through diffusion only. But when it comes to the higher organisms, there are special organs are developed from reptiles, birds, mammals. Means for the process of respiration, they have special respiratory organs depending upon the habitat where they are living and availability of the water and also their body weight. So depending upon these three, and also circulatory system, these three, the respiratory organs are adapted from in the different organisms. If you see, the respiration is of again divided into 4 types depending upon these factors. In that, first one is the tracheal respiratory system, branchial respiratory system, cutaneous respiration system and pulmonary respiratory system. If you see the first one, the tracheal respiration system, in this the special structures called trachea are developed in the organisms. See, these trachea have small holes on their body through which the exchange of gases takes place. For example, for tracheal respiration is cockroaches, that are insects, cockroaches, you can see the grasshopper also, butterfly. So, in these animals we can see the tracheal respiratory systems. Next one is the branchial respiratory system. In organisms like fishes, you know that the respiration takes place through gills. Gills are nothing but here branchia. We can say branchia or gills. Means the respiration takes place through branchia. That's why we call it as branchial respiratory systems. Through the blood capillaries which are present in the gills, the exchange of gases takes place. When the mouth opens, the fish opens its mouth, the water enters into the pharynx and then reaches the gills. From the water which has reached through to the gills, the oxygen which is present in the dissolved form in the water is absorbed by the blood capillaries and transferred to its body. So same process. Again when it closes, means same as our lungs, how it works, when the opening and closing of the mouth also helps in the inhalation of water and exchange of gases. Next one is the cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration means if the respiration takes place through skin, we call it as cutaneous respiration. Good example for that one is frog. So it respires through skin. Even the earthworm also respires through its skin only. Means the skin has some the exchange of gases takes place. If you see the frog, it is an amphibian. It can live both on land and in the water. When it lives in water, it respires through its skin. When it lives on the land, it respires through the lungs. Means it contains both. It has lungs and also skin as its respiratory organ. Next one, pulmonary respiration. If the respiration takes place through lungs, then we call it as pulmonary respiration. All the higher organisms like birds, mammals, they respire through the lungs. And exchange of gases takes place through the alveoli of the lungs. So in this way, depending upon the presence, means where they are living, that's the habitat, and the body weight. If you see the birds, they are small, some are heavy body. They have some heavy body, but compared to other, they are light. So depending upon the and also absorption, means the water, availability of the water also, these organisms are differentiated into different groups. So next one is the respiration in plants. Do you know the plants also respire like us? You know that they absorb the carbon dioxide to perform their metabolic activities, but they also respire. If you see, their respiration rate is low in the daytime when compared to nights. So they also absorb some amount of oxygen from the environment. So if you see, the stomata which are present in the leaf helps in the process of respiration. You know this one. But there are some cells called lenticels which are present on the stem, which also helps in the process of respiration for the plant. These lenticels are surrounded, are lined by the water, which helps to absorb the water in the form of diffusion. Means here the water is, here the plant will absorb the dissolved oxygen present in the water which is surrounded by it. So it will diffuse into its body. If you see some plants which are living nearby the ponds, lakes, they have the aerial roots. The plant is growing somewhere, it merges, it's surrounded, the roots are surrounded to some distance, and again the roots will come like a new plant. But it's not a plant, the root of that plant, where they are coming, means the roots are present deep in the water, means they are nearby the ponds or lakes. Then they are not able to absorb the oxygen from that water, means that oxygen supplement is not sufficient to this plant. Then the roots will come up, will come from the down of the soil. Through these roots which have these cells, air spacers, helps in the absorption of oxygen from the surrounding. Now if you see the normal plant root and the plants which are living near to the water, they have the halo structure. The plants have the root halo because to absorb the air, there is the oxygen from the environment. For the aeration process, they have the halo roots. Next one, to know about the process of respiration in the plants, we are going to perform the two activities. The first one is the evolved, means the carbon dioxide is also evolved in the process of respiration. How can you prove? The plant is also respiring like us. For that we are going to perform, and by this we can confirm that the carbon dioxide is also released through the respiration of the plant. See, take a glass jar and also small beaker. Keep some rainwater in the beaker, keep it aside. Take some sprouts. You know how to prepare the sprouts. Take some bajra or green gram. Otherwise you can take the horse gram also. Soak a day in the water. The next day take out the seeds and tie in the cloth for 1 day. Then you will get the small white color hair-like structure. That is nothing but embryo. We call it as an embryo. Then that is nothing but we call it as sprouts. The sprouts contains more proteins and vitamins when compared to normal seed. So take that seeds, sprouted seeds, keep some sprouted seeds in the glass jar and keep the rubber cork, means close that jar, not to allow the outside carbon dioxide. So the seed will germinate, the germinated seed will have the nutrients, means the nutrients are absorbed from the cotyledons. You know the cotyledons, that is the seed. Two halves we call it as cotyledons, means the food is supplied to that to the embryo from these cotyledons, and the embryo respires and releases carbon dioxide. These released carbon dioxide when combines with the lime water, then the lime water turns into milky white. So this is the process. By this we can say that carbon dioxide is also involved in the process of respiration. Same as us, the plants also respire to produce heat. To prove that same as this first process, just remove the beaker and insert one thermometer into the sprouted seeds. So you can see, keep it for 6 to 8 hours. Then you can observe that there is a rise in temperature level because of the generated heat by the sprouts, because of the generation of heat by the sprouts. So you can see here the rise in temperature. By this we can prove that the plants also respire like us and liberates carbon dioxide and heat. Next one, photosynthesis versus respiration. You can say that respiration and photosynthesis are same. Means respiration is taken by us and plants perform the photosynthesis. But here the process is reverse. If you observe this equation, the plants, it absorbs carbon dioxide from the environment and water from the soil and also sunlight from the environment in the presence of chlorophyll, means the chlorophyll which is present in the leaves. By these factors they produce glucose, and also releases oxygen into the environment. Here carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. These are the small sources, means here are the small substances. By using these small substances, it is producing a big substance. It's a complex substance. The glucose is a complex substance, whereas these are simple substance. By utilizing these simple substance and through the process of photosynthesis, it is preparing a complex substance called glucose. So that's why we call it as the anabolic process. Here both are not same, respiration and photosynthesis. The smaller substance are preparing the complex substance. So the photosynthesis is called anabolic process. Whereas if you see the process is reverse in us, we are utilizing oxygen and glucose from the food and liberating carbon dioxide and water and also energy. Here the source of energy is for the plant is light, but here large amount of energy is released by us. The process is reverse, means here the complex substance is broken down into simpler substance. Water, carbon dioxide and also energy. So the respiration is called catabolic process. The photosynthesis is anabolic, whereas the respiration is catabolic process. Children, by this we have finished our chapter. Try to prepare